Thomas had only been gone from the main line a short while, but his absence was already felt by the big engines. Gordon, Henry, and James had grown used to having Thomas around to help them with shunting and organizing their trains. Now that he was busy running his branch line, they had to manage these tasks on their own, and they weren't pleased about it. "Shunting is undignified," grumbled Gordon one morning, as he reluctantly backed into a row of trucks. "Thomas should be doing this, not us. And look at these dirty trucks," Henry added, wrinkling his nose. "I'm meant for pulling big loads, not pushing smelly coal wagons." James just sighed, trying to keep his shiny red paint clean. "It's just not fair," he complained. "Thomas always made this look so easy." But Thomas wasn't there, and the big engines had no choice but to handle things themselves. One day, Gordon was feeling particularly put out about shunting. "I am the express engine," he huffed to himself. "This is no job for me." After a tiring morning, Gordon was finally assigned to pull a passenger train. He puffed out of the station, relieved to be back doing what he loved. But as he passed through the countryside, something strange happened. A herd of elephants had wandered onto the tracks. Gordon screeched to a halt, his eyes wide as the elephants blocked his way. The passengers peered out of the windows in surprise and delight, but Gordon was horrified. "I'm a dignified engine, not a safari guide," he muttered. It took some time for the elephants to be safely cleared away, and by the time Gordon returned to the sheds, he was grumbling more than ever about missing Thomas. Henry's frustrations didn't end there. One afternoon, he was tasked with pulling a long train of troublesome trucks. The trucks, notorious for their mischief, decided they were going to have some fun with Henry. They bumped and bashed him all the way down the line. As Henry tried to manage the unruly trucks, there was a loud crash. One of the coupling rods snapped, and Henry was left stranded on the line. A quick-thinking guard borrowed a bootlace from a passenger to temporarily fix the brake so Henry could limp back to the sheds. Henry was embarrassed beyond words. "If only Thomas were here," he sighed, remembering how Thomas was always quick to help with troublesome trucks. Later, James found himself with his own problems. Without Thomas to help shunt, he was rushing to prepare his coaches on his own. In his haste, he bumped into a coach, scratching his bright red paint. This upset him so much that he didn't notice when he started pulling the train without properly checking his brakes. Halfway down the line, his brakes failed completely, and James sped down the track in a panic until the signalman diverted him onto a safe siding, where he finally came to a stop. James, now shaken and a little scratched, muttered, "Thomas always made it look so easy." When the big engines returned to the sheds that evening, each of them had a story to tell. Gordon grumbled about elephants, Henry fumed over bootlaces, and James was upset about his scratched paint. They all agreed that things had been much simpler when Thomas was around to help. Sir Topham Hatt, who had overheard their complaints, chuckled. "It seems you all missed Thomas more than you realized," he said. "Perhaps you'll appreciate him a little more when you see him next." The big engines nodded, each one quietly promising to be a bit kinder the next time they saw Thomas. After all, they'd come to realize that a really useful engine, no matter how small, was always worth appreciating.